it's interesting that you should ask the question about Jesus. I find Jesus and I admire the man. I love the man. A true healer. And when I say healer, I don't mean that he came to heal our physical ailments only. That's just the bones. I mean, making the blind to see, making the crippled to walk and stuff like that. These are all, in my opinion, these are all allegorical stories about the work of Christ Jesus. Because it kind of goes hand in hand with the teachings of the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama says that true healers, they do not remove the pain from the suffering being, nor do they wash away the disease with water, nor do they transfer their enlightened mind onto the unenlightened or the suffering being. Suffering and pain and healing can only come through the teachings of the truth. And I think that's exactly what Jesus Christ did. He emancipated us. He delivered us from our pain. Look at the story of Lazarus. Lazarus seems to be a person who was in a state of depression. He was so depressed that he died under his burden of sickness and disease. It is when Jesus Christ said to him, Lazarus, get up. Jesus gave him hope. He showed him that you don't have to die, you don't have to lose your spirit in depression, in your pain. Get up. And he extended to him a hand of fellowship, of brotherhood, and he raised him to life. Look at the person that he healed who was blind. Many of us are blind. When we are so depressed, when in such a situation where we can't find relief of our problem because we can't see. We're so stressed out we can't see any direction. And Jesus used clay and his saliva, and he applied it to the person's eyes. And when he washed it off, the person could see. Now, we can very well make a big issue out of the story of the mud and the saliva and the person seeing with his physical sight, his physical eyes. But I think it's a story of showing people that there is a means. There is a means of seeing truth for it. Instead of getting carried away with the physical healing. Everyone can do physical healing nowadays. I mean, we've got drugs for everything. We've got Reiki masters, Reiki people who can also apply their hands and heal people. What difference would that be from what Jesus Christ did? But the healing of Christ was great because he healed the spirit, he healed the soul of man. And he prepared us into this new age, the age of becoming, the age of, instead of being religious, you become spiritual. Understand that the religion is just a foundation for spirituality. And this is one thing that most people do not understand. We begin to worship the religion more than we worship God. We become so fanatical about our religion that we are unable to see that we are all human beings on the same planet and we are all serving one supreme being. And through the worshipping of your religion, meaning we get carried away, we are unable to see truth for what it is, we all need for Christ to come back and to apply saliva and mud to our eyes so that we can begin to see straight again. So the healing of Christ was so dynamic, was so powerful. He liberated us from our stupidity, from our single narrow vision. It was almost as if we had blinkers on. And Christ came and healed that. What about the man who was crippled? A man who couldn't get up anymore. He was crippled in the time of the Romans ruling Jerusalem or Israel at the time. How they oppressed people, how they brought people down to their knees, that this person was so crippled by fear, he couldn't get up no more, he couldn't walk no more. How often are we crippled by fear? How often do we have the voice of God that speaks within us? that guides us and says, do this in order to achieve a better life, or perform this particular action, or go take a journey, or leave this difficult relationship that you're in. We are no longer being appreciated. We are no longer being recognized. We are so crippled with fear that we do not get up. We are unable to get up and change our lives around. Here Jesus Christ helped us, man. He showed him to get up. There's hope. There's direction. So, I think those big stories are all allegorical, and it's possible that he did it physically as well, and I don't mind if it's physical. I don't care if it's physical or not. But for every objective meaning, there's a deep inner dimensional spiritual meaning as well. And sometimes we seem to lack that. We seem to be unable to marry the two. Know that religion is objective. It applies to the objective mind of man. Spirituality deals with the subjective aspects of man. And then we have cosmic consciousness, unity, whereby we will no longer see each other as you Muslim and you Christian and you Buddhist and you that, and create further division and kill each other. We will enter into the consciousness of unity, of oneness. No wonder God is one. We need to get there. We need to get to that point of seeing each other as you are my brother and you are my sister and we are one. In Islam they have a beautiful term that is Tawheed, Uhuda, unity. Scientists, quantum physicists can now all agree. They speak about the unified field, one field of divine consciousness. So our concept of God is about to change. It's changing. It's already changed. I think with the announcement of the 2012 Doomsday event, I think Doomsday happened already. We all died. And we all were expecting maybe a physical death, but the old man, the old way of seeing things, the old consciousness is dying. And we are now at the beginning of a new birth. We perhaps right now we're just a fetus in the womb of the cosmos. And soon the birth is going to take place. When we will no longer see each other as separate. We will no longer live in hatred toward people from a different way of worship. We're going to realize that my religion was nothing more than a stepping stone to spirituality, so that I may experience God. Take note of the words, very important. Experience God. Right now, the ways that we used to do before, we never experienced God. We just worshipped Him. Religion, to a large extent, has separated us from God. We said God is over there, He's almighty, He's all great and everything, and it never brought us to experience God from Him. Now and then He said to us that we are a microcosm of a macrocosm. But still we separated us. We were still separate from God. Soon the time is going to come that we're going to realize that there is nothing else that exists but God. And that includes you and me. It's a topic for another day, or a lot to speak about that. But we will get to realize, take with you these words. In the Quran, we are being taught that God is closer to us. God is closer to us than our jugular vein. The Quran says, نَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We are closer to you than your jugular vein. In Christianity, Jesus Christ said, the kingdom of heaven is within. In Buddhism, they say, beautiful story of the Buddha, he said, if you see me preaching on the street, kill me. For the true Buddha lives within. You can find that all these religions or traditions refers to something within. The ancient hermits or the mystics, they used to say, know thyself. Discover what is within. I think the final frontier is not like Star Trek said that it's out there in space, or it's maybe deep into the oceans. I think the final frontier of discovery is going to be the discovery of us.